Chapter 16 Figures in the Dark. The main reason you should never go into dark tunnels in the backrooms. My flashlight beam shone directly onto a grotesque and rotting fleshy creature made completely out of exposed human flesh. My scream of pure terror pierced the air as I stumbled backwards, tripping over the tracks as I lost my footing. I landed ass first on the concrete as my flashlight fell from my hands. My heart raced as my breathing grew hasty and shallow. The flashlight flickered before powering off. Holy fuck! What the fuck was that thing? I cried as I blindly groped around for my flashlight. My hands brushed the cool metal handle of my only light source as I grabbed it instantly, turning it on as fast as I could. The air grew colder as I quickly got to my feet. I can't go back. That horde of death rats will kill me. I have to keep going, I said as I took a deep breath. The temperatures around me were close to freezing as I stumbled through the dark, trying to keep my flashlight beam as low as possible as I cautiously made my way down the tunnel. The sounds of faint laughter sent chills to my entire body as I looked up. My flashlight flickered furiously as I locked eyes with a horrifying creature made up of two glowing white eyes and a massive razor-sharp teeth-filled smile. My breath caught in my throat as I froze. The creature seemed to be watching my every movement as I remained as still as possible. The faint sounds of laughter grew louder as the chilling smiling face inched closer. I moved my flashlight slightly to try and get a better look at the creature, shifting my footing as I slowly took a step back. It's just watching me, I whispered to myself, the mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth that could tear into me at any moment sent a wave of paranoia through my soul. I took a deep breath before clicking off my flashlight. The sound of laughter cut off instantly as the smiler inched closer. Its eyes now locked on me. Fuck, I said softly as fear filled my voice. My heart raced as my eyes strained to see in the darkness. The smiler slowly crept closer as I slowly stepped back. The sounds of trains filled the air as a powerful gust of wind shot down the tunnel, pushing me back. The laughter instantly grew deafeningly loud as the smiler lunged at me. I darted to the side and began running as fast as I could. The sounds of laughter filled the tunnel as the smiler gained on me. The sounds of my feet slapping the concrete. The sound of my Damn, I need to go to bed. It's 12 o'clock at night, bro. The sounds of my feet slapping the concrete as I ran echoed down the tunnel as I ran as fast as I could through the darkness. The smiler lunged at me again, the aura of freezing cold air around it brushing the back of my neck. I took a deep breath and jumped to the side, causing the smiler to charge past me before realizing its prey was now behind it. I instantly began to run over the tracks to the other side of the tunnel as death continued to chase me through the darkness. My head spun as my eyes burned, my mind struggling to see through the blanket of darkness all around me. I have to lose it, I sludged myself as I glanced behind me. The smiler was hot on my heels as its laughter echoed down the tunnel. I gasped for air as my chest burned, my body craving fresh oxygen and a rest break as I pushed myself to run as fast as I could. My stamina began to run low as I listened to the sounds of death remain close behind me. My eyes strained to see what was ahead of me as I struggled to see an end to the tunnel or a way out. The smiler lunged at me again, its teeth clipping the back of my legs. It slowed down, thinking it had caught me. I pushed further as I realized I had a small advantage at the moment and darted over the tracks back to the left side. The smiler charged as it began to grow angry at its current prey, reaching speeds I hadn't seen yet. It's faster, I choked as I just barely dodged an attack from the bringer of death. My lungs screamed as my heart pounded furiously in my chest. My feet kicked off as my legs pumped furiously to push me forwards. The smell of rot and death filled the air as I glanced behind me. The smiler had stopped and began retreating as I continued to run forwards. A wave of relief crashed over me, quickly followed by a wave of paranoia. What is it retreating from? I thought to myself as I began to slow down. I gripped my flashlight tightly as I finally flicked it on, revealing a massive, lanky, shadowy figure that was hidden in the shadows. Fuck, I exhaled as I stumbled backwards, almost dropping my flashlight as the 12-foot shadow began to clamber forwards. Its long, skinny arms almost touched the ground, Its head was a small oval that was microscopic compared to the rest of its body. What? I choked as I forgot to react. As I forgot how to react, sorry. The hair on the back of my neck stood up as goosebumps spread along my arms and legs. The air was freezing as the unidentifiable creature stumbled towards me. Death crept closer as I remained paralyzed with fear. Run, I stammered as I began to move. My flashlight beam flickered furiously as the creature grew closer. The smell of rot and death filled the air as I stumbled back. Run, I said with more urgency. My body refused to respond as death slowly inched closer. Run, I stammered as my legs went numb. A monotonous, low growl filled the air as the tall, lanky entity began to reach towards me. My head spun as my mind exploded with thoughts. My legs sprang into action as I kicked off the ground, running past the unidentifiable bringer of death as it swung its arms out in an attempt to hit me. I ducked, barely avoiding being knocked to the ground as the entity let off a loud and chilling wail. Chills filled my entire being as I ran as fast as I could away from the 12-foot-tall demon behind me. I need to leave this level now, I said as I shined my flashlight beam down the tunnel. The sounds of running water filled the air as the sounds of my footfalls echoed down the tunnel. My eyes followed the shaky white ray of the flashlight as it exposed glimpses of the rusty track, the cracking concrete, the rotting brick walls, and the carcasses of hundreds of wanderers and entities that didn't make it out. The smell of rotting flesh filled the air as I slowed to a stop and looked around. Another one? I hissed as I spun around, shining my flashlight in every direction as I searched for the source of the smell of death. My eyes widened as I came face to face with a large, shadowy creature made of hundreds of tentacles and limbs as it reached directly for me. I dodged the first tentacle, not being so lucky with the second one as it burned my flesh the moment it grazed my shoulder. I cried out in pain and began running, trying to escape as the tentacles reached out to grab me. I shined my flashlight along the walls, hoping to find some sort of door or escape, only to find nothing. The smell of rotting flesh filled my nose as the burn on my shoulder throbbed. Is that my flesh? I said fearfully as I glanced behind me. I just barely dodged another tentacle before the entire creature vanished completely. I continued to run down the tunnel, hoping it would end at some point soon as my shoulder pulsed and throbbed. My eyes followed the flashlight beam as I tried to ignore the smell of burnt, rotting flesh that my shoulder gave off. I can't let the figures in the dark touch me. I said as the pain in my shoulder worsened. I glanced behind me to see if I was being followed before returning my gaze to the front. A large gust of wind raced down the tunnel, followed by the sounds of trains as I continued on. The sounds of my feet hitting the ground echoed down the tunnel and through the tunnel as my breathing grew shallow. I need medical help, I groaned as my shoulder throbbed painfully. My head pounded with a migraine as I struggled to see what was ahead of me. My flashlight flickered a few times, causing me to slow down and stop in the middle of the tracks. How many are there? I choked as I looked around. The hair on the back of my neck stood up straight as death brushed past me, sending a wave of chills through my body. The light. It has to be attracting them somehow, I said as I stared down at the flashlight in my hands. I hesitated before clicking it off, bathing me in my surroundings in darkness. The sounds of movement stopped as I stayed as still as possible. The stench of death slowly disappeared as I took a shaky breath in. I have to get out of these tunnels, I said as I looked around. My eyes struggled to see in the darkness as I strained to see what was around me. I began walking forwards, slowly making my way down the tunnel as I tried to ignore the pain in my shoulder. I began walking in silence as I slowly made my way through the tunnels to level 59, the one I was in now being level 835 in the newer Backrooms level database. Little did I know that I keep ruining suspense. I'm so sorry. Little did I know what was hiding deep in the shadows around me.